Hey, what's up? This is Andorra here. For this video, we take a look at the hotly anticipated SS17 Nike ACG drop, which is coming out, if I get my video timing right, tomorrow. So I've been putting this video off for a little while because I wanted to wait until there was some decent kind of official product images out for every single product in the range. But here we are, less than 48 hours before the actual drop, and it seems like there are some things which are still kind of missing or not really explained, which I'll get to at the end of the video. But first up, let's take a look at what we actually do have available. Okay, so first up we have the Commuters. These I think look really sick. I really like these a lot. If you guys have seen the video on these, you'll see that the front kind of fans out like this crazy lizard thing. So it's a very interesting way of getting your foot in there. You kind of pull the front out and then you pull it tight at the back with this little toggle that you can see here, and then the whole thing is done up with that big strap that goes over the front. I really like the look of these. I really like the unique way that they fasten as well, and the price is not too outrageous either. I think these were £119, something like that. So I kind of expected them to be more expensive, to be honest, but they're not any more expensive than any other kind of similar looking or performing shoe. So that, I think, is definitely one of the better pieces from this drop, and potentially one of the more hyped things as well, considering ACG have not really done any footwear, at least recently, that's had this kind of hype and this mainstream appeal. And there's this grey and pink version, which I think is super cool. I really like the look of these. They're very kind of spacey looking, very futuristic, so I think with some other quite sort of forward-thinking, quite futuristic items of clothing, these could be really cool. I do really like that pinky purple colouring as well. It's very unique. We don't really see that sort of thing a lot, especially in techwear. So yeah, interested to see what people can do with these. Next up we have the Poncho, which is kind of the poster child of the collection. It's got a lot of early press. This was the first garment of the range that was kind of unveiled in one or two pictures by Errolson Hugh. It has quite an interesting fit. It's short sleeved, which is unusual in itself, and then it has these very kind of drapey arms, a little bit extended length I think, and quite a high neckline as well, which also looks quite cool. The not so cool thing about this poncho is that it seems to be retailing for £215.
What?
You have to wonder what exactly it was that they were smoking when they came up with that price. You know, I know it's kind of made of this 3-layer material. It's got DWT coating, so it's going to have some water resistance. It's got the branding, it's got the internal pockets, but aside from that, I'm kind of failing to see exactly what you're getting with this. It seems pretty hype though nonetheless, so whether people will actually take the bait and people will buy this remains to be seen. It's a cool looking piece. I think it will look cool in summer techwear fits, but it's just that price is just, it's too spicy. There's a pink and white version of this as well, which I actually think is cooler than the black one. Very unique colouring, very kind of summery as well, more poncho appropriate colour I think. So again, I'll be interested to see what people do with that. But just, oh, that price is so bad. The cargos are another relatively hyped piece of this collection. They've moved the pockets to the front for these ones, which is quite an interesting choice. And then along the side, there's kind of ventilation zips, so you can help keep yourself cool, which is good. Summer appropriate tech, I like that. The pockets also have drawstrings, so you can pull them really tight and it almost kind of pulls them away from the body, which is quite an interesting look. And also they have managed to add belt loops for this one, which they were missing with last season. You can kind of see, but there are also zips on the inside of the leg as well, so you can open the inside and the outside and then you can get a nice through breeze going on. So these will potentially actually keep you quite cool, so I quite like that. Like the woven trousers from last season, it kind of looks like they have a very light crop as well. Because these are a summer item, you don't want them too tapered, so you don't want them too constrictive. You want a little bit of air going in there, but nonetheless I think a lot of people would have preferred a more aggressive taper. Again though, the price on these is pretty high. These are retailing at $235, which considering last season's ACG cargos were $165, that's quite a big price increase. So again, it's a case of, is that extra money worth those features that you're getting? That's a question that I think only you can answer. The shirt jacket is quite an interesting one. These retail at $169, which is not too bad. With concealed buttons, these have a very minimalist look from the front, which I think is very cool. They have that little section of branding there, so it's a little bit kind of visible as to exactly what this is. And I like that kind of concealed pocket there instead of having your standard breast pocket. So this is quite an interesting little piece, I think, especially compared to some of the other things which are a little bit on the safer side. I also find this electric blue colorway that they've gone for quite interesting. This isn't something that they've used in any other piece in the collections. This is totally unique, and relatively unique in techwear stuff, actually. This is very much kind of heading back to the old days of ACG when things were in this kind of colouring a lot more. It was very kind of outdoorsy, hiker-centric type stuff. So I think using that retro appeal, but then having a much more modern design is quite cool. So I'll be interested again to see the kind of things that people can come up with this. I would really like to see some very bold coloured tech fits. I think that would be cool. Slightly strange addition though is that this has a jacket sling in it. Not really sure why you'd need that for a shirt, but nonetheless, that's just a thing they've included, so if you don't want it, you can take it off. I've got to say that the cargo shorts are pretty tasty looking. As you might imagine, they are basically just a cut-off version of the full-length cargo trousers. So it looks like they have all the same ventilation zips, they have the same pockets, they have the same belt loops, but a nice exact half length. So it looks like these fall just below the knee, which I think is okay. I was a little bit concerned that these would come up quite high and be kind of like weird cargo short type things, but they seem to be a decent length, so I've got no problem with that. Despite half of a trouser being missing, these are more expensive than last year's cargo trousers. These retail at $189. It seems like a lot to ask for not quite as much material, but of course material is a relatively small cost in the development of these, and I do think they're cool, relatively unique as well. A lot of mainstream tech brands are not covering exactly this kind of thing, like you don't really get Acronym shorts, for example. So I think they're nice and probably one of the better items in the collection. And now we come on to the bonus section. This is some stuff that hasn't seemed to have appeared on any retailer sites yet, and we seem a little bit low on images. So this thing I'm super hyped about, the ACG hat. Now this seems to be the only picture that exists of it right now. Not exactly sure where it came from, but it shows off this baseball hat type material that looks like it's made from something kind of lightly water repellent, but also very lightweight. And it's got these things kind of coming down around the back as well. And it's potential that there's that face mask included also. So it's going to be like a full covering for your head, which I think is really, really awesome. I've not seen this kind of thing much recently at all. So I do think this is an incredibly interesting piece. It's going to look really good in techwear fits, I think, so definitely hyped for that one. The other item is another hat, which is a bucket hat, and this one does appear to have a face mask built in, and there's potentially also a pocket on there as well. It's very hard to tell. There aren't really any official images for it at all, but again, that's something that could be very exciting because it's not really something that's kind of done in techwear, having that kind of hat. So I think once they release that, that'll be very, very cool. I think that will be one of the most hyped items of the collection for sure. So in my mind, the top things are the hats, which are potentially going to release, but maybe not. We don't really know. It would be good to at least get some concrete information on them. The Commuter shoes, I think, are both going to be easy to work into techwear fits and have that interesting and unique way of fastening them. So those are definitely something to keep a lookout for. The cargo trousers and shorts, I think, are pretty hype as well. Those internal and external zips I think are cool. You know, keep your nads chilly, stop everything from getting too hot in there, especially in these summer months. That's going to be super important. So all in all, I think this has been a pretty solid collection. There's not really anything that stands out to me as being kind of really disgusting or unwearable. I think everything is kind of practical and also cool at the same time. In fact, the only thing that you could argue is disgusting is the price on that poncho. It really is insanely high, which is a shame because I would really like to see that worked into some techwear fits. And I would like to pick one up myself, but I think at that kind of price, it's just a little bit too much for me to handle. I'm interested to see what happens on the 18th with that drop. I think the hats will come and go very quickly if indeed they are released. The shoes as well will possibly be one of the more hyped items of the drop, and they might go too. Let me know what you guys think of the ACG collection in the comments. Maybe you agree with me, or maybe you think I'm totally wrong and a bit of an idiot. Either way, stick it in the comments. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion. So that's been everything. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support on the recent videos. It does mean a lot to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you're not sick of me rambling on about techwear, then there will be some more videos going up at the top there. And if you want to subscribe, you want to check out some future stuff, there will be a link there somewhere. There will be another video probably going up at the weekend, hopefully if I have time. So there's quite a lot of stuff coming up. I've got a big queue of things to do, so look forward to some more stuff for sure.